So we don't just want multi-sport athletes. We need it to be successful here in everything. We want to have the best basketball team in the area. We want to have the best football team in the area. Obviously, we have a historic wrestling program.
Absolutely.
That takes care of itself. But, multi-sport athletes are a must at small schools for success. And we go out of our way to encourage that. And not just encourage it, but, I'm going to be at the games, right? I'm going to the wrestling meets. I'm going to the basketball meets. I think that goes a long ways with our kids, knowing that you genuinely do care and that you're going to show up and take time. I think that's a huge part of coaching.
Let's go. Steel City Select the Podcast, episode 5. I'm your host, Coach Boz. A big thank you to all of you who have followed, liked, commented, and subscribed on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and the Anchor app. If you haven't already, make sure you follow Steel City Select on Instagram at Steel City Select 7v7. And subscribe to our brand new YouTube channel to check out our video podcasts, highlights, and more exclusive content on YouTube. On today's podcast, I'm joined by Calumet New Tech High School football coach, Cody French. Cody French and the Warriors finished 6-4 in his first season at the helm. Tune in to learn why he's so excited about the future of Calumet football and how building a winning culture, not just on your team, but why every other team in the school building success is so important. Calumet has some amazing, talented football players, and Coach French spotlights a few up-and-coming underclassmen who will be making plays for the Warriors next season. Check it out. Coach Cody French. How you doing, Coach?
Good, Coach. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate the opportunity to be on.
Awesome, man. Thanks for jumping on. Super excited to have you on board. You guys just finished up your first season as head coach at Calumet, correct?
Yep, that's absolutely right.
Cool, man. How was it?
Good, man. Got a lot of the first year jitters out of the way. Had a productive season. Had a really good senior class that bought into what we were doing and what our assistant coaches were doing. I feel like the year went well. Could have been a little better. Played some tough opponents at the end of the year where we look to build on it and get better and improve going into next season.
Yeah, so I've been following you this whole season. This is one of those testaments to social media, man. I've followed you on Twitter, and when you follow someone on social media, sometimes it seems like you know them better than you actually do. This is probably our second conversation, but we've spoken through Twitter so much that I feel like I know you. So I know you're a big Michigan fan. Go Blue.
Yeah, go Blue.
What'd you think of those playoffs?
Got exposed a little bit. Good to be there, though. I know it's a huge step for those guys. I'm a huge Michigan fan. Follow everything closely, but it was kind of shocked that they were as good as they were this year, and see if they can build off that and keep it rolling. Yeah.
So what's your name on Twitter so the folks out there can add you?
Real easy, Coach Cody French.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you and I have gone back and forth because I'm a Buckeye fan, a quasi Buckeye fan, not by birth or anything like that. I just love what the Buckeyes did. And, you're a Michigan guy, so we went back and forth. But that's always fun, man.
I haven't had much to talk about for the last 20 years, so it was nice to have
Exactly. Exactly. Nothing like talking some college ball, man. But I really love connecting with guys that are passionate about football the way I am and love college football and high school football. And so started following you and your program and what you were doing. And you guys had a great season and ended up, what did you end up, 6-4?
Yeah, 6-4. Yep.
In your first year as head coach at Calumet, but also your first year as a head coach, correct?
Correct. Yep.
So tell me a little bit about yourself and your background, how you came up playing ball.
Originally, I'm from Gladwin, Michigan, which probably no one is going to know where that's at. It's near Midland, Saginaw area. kind of central northern Lower Peninsula. Small school, 400, 450 kids. Played every position in high school: quarterback, running back, tight end, linebacker, D end. Just everywhere, wherever they needed me, that's where I played. So learned a lot about the game from doing that. Played for some really good high school coaches. Kind of started that passion and love for football. Went on to play D2 ball at St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer, Indiana. Been in Indiana ever since. As soon as I got done playing, I actually went to Seymour, Indiana, which is down south by Louisville, Kentucky.
Yep.
Played for my head coach in high school. He was the head coach down in Seymour. So got on with him, coaching D-line, and I was a special education teacher down there. We had some success down there, and he was able to kind of catapult into the Elkhart Central job. So came up north with him as his D coordinator. We helped build Elkhart Central from, they were giving up 45, 50 points a game when we got there. Had the number one defense in 5A my last 2 years there. And then when we transitioned into 6A at Elkhart High School, we were a top 3 defense the 1 year in 6A too. So we kind of built a culture of defense there. We scored a lot of points too. Our offense was explosive. One of the main things that I learned working for Coach Shattuck at Seymour and Elkhart is how to meet your players where they're at. He does a great job of letting his kids be who they are, not trying to mold them into any certain structure, and kind of letting the culture take shape from who your leaders are that season, right? So it's a little different every year. And also how to develop players. You know, we had 5, 6 Division I players in the 4 years that I was there.
Oh, wow.
And that was not a norm at Elkhart. It is now, but before we had gotten there, you know, they had 1 or 2 guys every 2 or 3 years, but now he's going to consistently produce Division I talent, and kind of just taking those lessons and how that process and how that works day in and day out all year long, trying to keep that going. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. The number 1 defense in 6A. That's huge. I played at Ball State back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and I think we had some Elkhart guys back in the day, but I know there was a drought from when they were putting out Division I talent.
Overall, from top to bottom, they've had a ton of Division I talent in that area. You know, Alabama, they have a really cool Wall of Fame there where they have a picture of any player who's gone and played scholarship football.
Wow.
And there's a long list. So,
okay, well, that's cool. So you were his D coordinator, and then you got a chance to interview and get a head coaching job. So where'd you go next after Elkhart?
So after Elkhart, had a really brief stint in Niles, Michigan. Didn't even coach a game there. And it was nothing bad on Niles. Loved that place. They have great leadership. I was very attracted to it from the moment I interviewed. I really liked the athletic director. I felt like we had put a good staff together, and I really liked the kids. Calumet was kind of the job that I always wanted during the interview process. The Niles process went much faster. Got offered the job quicker, and at that time it wasn't something I was going to pass up. So, and I was excited about it. I mean, like I said, I got nothing bad to say about them. And then after I was there, this opportunity kind of represented itself. Location-wise, for me and my family, this place is lights out. My wife is born and raised in Orland Park, and you know, we have a 18-month-old son, so it's nice to have
Congratulations.
some help and be close to family. Thank you. It's just nice to be in an area where if we need help with something, or if we need someone to watch him for the day, it's right down the road, you know, instead of 3.5 hours away. So for us, location-wise, and then obviously everything about this place is attractive, right? We have great facilities. I love the location, and I really like who I work with and who I work for. I was able to get 2 assistants in the building here right away, which, you know, building the program as a new coach, that's a huge thing. So, yeah, I did want to touch on Niles because I have the utmost respect for them. I don't want anyone to think that was a got there and it wasn't what they said it was going to be type thing, because that wasn't it at all.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're going to have success too. They have a good coach. He's doing a good job. So
I've always said that Calumet job is like a hidden gem, man. It's situated right at the crossroads of Gary and Maryville and Griffith, and I mean, you can draw kids from all over. And then what the administration did with that facility, I don't know, I think this may be year 2 or 3 for that new turf field, scoreboard, jumbotron, new track. I mean, they really went all out with that Calumet facility. Our Gary Steelers Pop Warner program was actually, we played there the first year they opened up the new turf.
Yep.
But then due to COVID, we weren't able to play there 2 years ago, and we moved back over to West Side. But
Yep.
I love that Calumet facility, and I knew that when they went out on the coaching search that facility was going to make that job a lot more attractive. So
Yeah. Well,
other than the facilities, I mean, you got some great kids over there too.
yeah. I mean, we have a lot of high caliber athletes. Last year we had a really strong offensive line. I think we're going to have a strong offensive line again. We're just going to be young. But I mean, and obviously Coach Good did an unbelievable job here, right? I mean, they won a sectional, won the conference, really built this thing from the ground up. And that was another thing. You know, I knew that they'd had recent success. I knew I was going to be coming into a culture of kids that expect to win, know how to win. I've had a few really good conversations with Coach Good, and he's been a good ally in the transition, and kind of, you know, if I have questions about how certain things work, he always answers the call. I've appreciated his support during this. So
That's awesome. Yeah, I like Coach Good. We were over there at the same time. He was the head man, and he really welcomed us with open arms and kind of gave us the run of the facility. We were
he's
meeting
a good guy.
in the locker room and having our kids back in the locker room, and homecoming and all that kind of stuff. We were involved, so it was a good experience over at Calumet. That's a great program that you got your hands on.
Thank you.
Now you're the head man, so you want to put your stamp on it. So
Absolutely.
So your first season, you come in. When did you get hired? When did you get the job?
Everything got official right towards the end of May, right? So it was a little
So
later.
you had a full summer.
Yeah, a little later than you'd like it to be, right? But we were able to jump in and pretty much get the whole summer in, so that was crucial.
Very good. So recapping that last year, that 2021 season, you guys went 6-4, and I was at your game versus West Side, my alma mater.
Yeah.
And you guys really clamped down defensively. I know you were a defensive coordinator. You focus your time and effort on which side of the ball and that kind of thing.
I'm actually calling our offense right now. It's
okay.
my first, my first stint with doing that. We're in the process of kind of restructuring our offensive side of the ball. I felt like we need to be better on that side, and we will be moving forward. Defensively, Tyler Milby's our defensive coordinator. This is his first year as DC last year. Obviously, they had 4 or 5 shutouts first year calling the defense, and he truly does have autonomy and final say in what we do defensively. So I was really impressed with the job he did. He's a lights-out coach. Comes to us from Wheeler, right? He was their linebackers coach when they made their head coaching transition. Kind of swooped in and knew. I played with him in college for a year, so I knew his commitment to the game. But that's all him, man. He does a great job. He's detailed-oriented, very intricate, and I do feel like the defense is the strength of our team. And we were able, we held, I think, the best running back around here for West Side. Held him to under 25, under 30 yards. So that was the kind of the best game of our season, I felt like. Offensively, we struggled. We had 3 guys out with quarantine. We had a freshman center going against that D-line for his first start.
That's tough.
Great experience for him. He's our center now, so he can draw on that for the rest of the year. But no, that game specifically is a highlight for us. That's a natural rival, right?
Mm-hmm. Couple blocks away.
Yeah, Coach Schreiber and I kind of got the jobs at similar times, and I'm very aware of how much better they're getting every day, right? It's not lost on me that they're going to continue to be a serious rival moving forward. They're going to continue to get better and better, and that's a game that we always have circled. We know that's a staple for our program. If we can beat them, we're moving in the right direction.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I think those rivalry games are key to building a program because it gives the kids something to really get excited about.
Yep.
They probably know each other. The schools being so close, they probably went to middle school together,
Absolutely.
grew up playing Pop Warner together. So those rivalry games are huge when you're building a program to getting your kids to buy in.
And it gives you, another goal, right? So win the conference, win the sectional, beat West Side. I know for them, they got kind of 2 natural rivals, right? Us and Morton also. Those guys go back and forth. They're both doing the same thing, building up programs and trying to continue. So
I coached at West Side for about 5 years, and when I was there, we didn't play Calumet, but we definitely played Morton. Piggybacking off that Ohio State Michigan theme, we didn't even call them Morton. We called them the team over the hill.
Yep.
Just the way Ohio State calls Michigan the team up north. Yep. We called them the team over the hill. But Calumet was always, lurking in the background. We had kids that would leave and transfer over. I mean,
Yep.
Especially after Lou Wallace closed, the Glen Park kids,
Right.
a lot of them just migrated to Calumet. So it's a Gary school. You're right there in Gary, right on the edge. So having that in-city rivalry is just
awesome.
huge. It's awesome for
And
your program.
I think it's a good sign for Gary football,
For sure.
Two teams that are young coaches, a lot of energy and excitement around both programs right now, and I think you're going to see two teams continue to grow and build into competitors. So
absolutely, you get there, you get a full summer in, and you get your guys to start buying in. You had to have great senior leadership to come up and have a winning season your first program. Tell me about some of the seniors you had this year.
Yeah, we had we had great senior leadership. First guy that comes to mind is George Winfield. He's in the recruiting process right now. Starting to get some D1 walk-on looks and some real serious looks from some, good D2 schools, UND, Marion, and AIA. But talking to Ball State real closely, obviously his brother went there and was a pretty good player. So we'll see where he ends up. But he was a great leader. Bought in right away from day one. And then we had Mario Price and Jamari Murray. Those were big-time seniors for us. Started both ways, never came off the field. They started both at wide receiver and then on defense just flip and play corner. Played every snap for us. They were both very good players. Jamari averaged 32 yards per reception.
Wow.
Basically uncoverable one-on-one. If he had one-on-one coverage, we felt extremely comfortable throwing fader out to him. So Scott Flores was another great senior leader that we had. He didn't get to play more than 10 snaps week one. He went down, broke his foot, pretty serious injury. It's been awesome to see him back on the basketball court because there was a lot of doubt on if he'd be able to play basketball. But the Flores boys are tough as nails.
I love kids.
Yeah,
love both of them.
Man. Hard to beat those guys.
Yeah.
But no, they did. There was some. It's always a little rough when a new coach comes in, especially because of all the success they had. I'm naturally going to do things differently. Everyone does, and when you've had success, kind of anything different is like, well, this is not how we used to do it. But that got stifled out pretty quick, and we had a decent year. There's 2 games really, that I'd love to have back. But I think that motivates our team and our kids that are coming back moving forward. So great senior leadership, great buy-in right away, and that really made things smooth throughout the season.
That's awesome. Yeah, great group of kids, the Flores boys. I've known them for a few years, man. And I mean, when you have kids with that mental makeup,
yep,
it really helps out your program, especially in your first year, getting everybody on board. So what about underclassmen, man? You guys got just a ton of athletes over there at Calumet. Who's up and coming that we'll be hearing their name for the next couple of years? Yeah,
well, I mean, you heard his name a lot this year, but David Flores goes by Bang Bang, the younger brother of Mark and Scott. He led the region.
That's the linebacker.
Yeah, yep. He led the region in tackles last year. It's all over the field. Explosive, tough, really good player. We use him a lot. He plays in the middle. He plays outside. We kind of match him up to where we think the ball's going and let him make plays. So you heard his name a lot this year, but you're going to continue to hear that. Eric Allen is a freshman on our team. He starts at point guard on the basketball team right now. Extremely talented young kid. He'll play some slot receiver, some wide receiver, and safety for us next year. You're going to hear his name a lot. Marcos Garcia is the O-line, D-line kid for us. He'll be a 4-year starter. Really solid, really talented player on the offensive line. We have Terrell Caldwell, TJ. He's a special talent.
That's my guy.
Yeah, he'll be a huge part of what we do offensively this year. And he's been begging to get on the other side of the ball, too. He doesn't want to be off the field, so we'll see if he plays some defense. But he's a game breaker.
Yeah.
He's got crazy top-end speed, finished 8th in the state in the long jump. His dad played at Arkansas. He's got all the intangibles. He could have a breakout year. I wouldn't be shocked if he ended the year with some offers, probably quite a few.
For sure.
And then just a couple more. Alex Ponce. So the Ponce brothers, that's another name here. Alex plays linebacker for us, and Anthony played running back for us, ran for 700 yards last year. The Ponce name and the Flores name runs deep in Calumet. And then we have a kid actually from Westside. He didn't play last year, Latrell Lancaster. He wrestles, really good wrestler for us, and we're excited about him at the running back position as well. He's a big kid, man. He's got 2 years left too. So
that's awesome. That's one of the things that we really want to do with this podcast is highlight our athletes that are doing great things here in the region. I know basketball, gets a lot of shine, and shout out to Dewan Marrero. He's doing his podcast and bringing the spotlight to the kids that are doing their thing in basketball. But we want to do the same thing for our football athletes and just put their names out there. So shout out to all those underclassmen that are up and coming, and we look forward to seeing their name in the newspaper in the next couple of years.
Yeah. There's so much talent in this area, and that's
crazy.
I have a couple buddies who coach at Western Michigan. I talked to them yesterday about players at Hammond Central and about West Side. Like, the talent is here for those D1 schools, and the more that us as coaches, I mean, obviously I'm trying to beat West Side week 2, right? But if a college coach calls, I'm telling them about those guys. We want college coaches in here and around. One other kid I can't not talk about is Quentin Falls, and I want to talk about him last year and what we expect from him coming up. Last year he was our backup QB, and we moved him into that role in probably July because we just weren't comfortable with our backup quarterback situation. So we moved him from wide receiver, asked him to play quarterback in a spread offense, and you could tell that he had a lot of potential in July, right? But we got Flores at quarterback, not expecting any type of issues with that. He's going to be the kid all year. Mm-hmm. And then 7th play of the year, he goes down, and Quentin steps in, leads us to victory in that game, comes out next week, beats West Side, and really did a great job at that quarterback spot, kind of getting thrown in there and developing. And I think that's going to be huge for him as he's our quarterback for the next, 2 full seasons. Great experience. So
yeah. I was on the sideline for that. I was on the West Side sideline for that game, and he made me nervous every snap because he's going to break one.
Yep.
Like, he's going to break one.
Yeah.
If they keep him bottled up, we got a chance. But if he gets out in the open, I don't know who's going to catch him.
Great athlete, great kid, high GPA. He's a dominant wrestler for our wrestling team.
That's awesome.
You love to see from your QB, And so, we just love him. Think he's going to be really good for us for the next 2 years. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm really excited about that kid to see what he does. So, you touched on it. You said you're the offensive coordinator now. A guy after my own heart. I played defense in college, and then when I got a chance to start coaching the offensive side of the ball, I just really got excited about it. It was something that you'd never. I played in high school, obviously, but 4 years of college playing defense and then switching back to coaching and getting your hands on it and really seeing how offense works, how often I really got excited about offensive line play. It's one of my favorite things to coach now is offensive line. So tell me how you made that switch from being a defensive guy, a defensive coordinator, to now running your offense over there, really a high-powered spread offense over there at Calumet.
Yeah, very different deal. We offensively have a little more control over what's going to happen when the ball's snapped. Defensively, so reactive. So much time on defense is spent on the basics, the fundamentals, the in and outs. Can we tackle? Can we take the ball away? Can we pursue? Can we get to our coverage drops? Whereas offensively, practice planning is more so spent on your game plan for that week and execution. But that was the biggest difference, was the difference in practice from offense to defense and how you put it all together. So, we had some games where we scored a lot of points. When you have guys like Mario and Anthony and those guys and Jamari touching the ball and TJ, it's easy to look smart calling plays. Those guys can make a not good play call into a touchdown pretty quick. So it's a good combination of, I think we have a good offensive staff that helped put us in the right spot. There were some growing pains. With the players we have here, we feel like if we have a productive week of practice and our guys really understand the game plan, then they just need me to call the right play a few times a game, right? And we're going to put some points up.
You guys put up video game numbers, man. 69 points versus South Bend, 52 versus EC, 39 versus Whiting. I mean, you guys really lit up the scoreboard on some Friday nights.
Yeah, it was, and those games are fun. It's fun. Feels like every play you call is working. The kids are locked in and they're executing. And we one thing that's nice about those games is you get to share the love, right? You get to spread the ball out to guys that are working hard and guys that have been doing their job all week in practice. So those games are fun when your offense gets rolling like that. And then for us, with the way our defense has the ability to play, there's a lot of freedom in calling the offense, right?
Yeah.
You get into a game and you can just. That we take a chance here. We throw an interception. We're going to have the ball back in 3 plays. Our defense is locked in. So it's a lot more free and open with your play calling when you have a defense like that behind you. So we're actually, and this isn't a secret. I've been talking to everyone around here, but we're actually switching up our offense. We're going to be 10 personnel, short pistol option, right? Spread, true spread still. We'll have 4 receivers on the field every snap. But we're going to go with an option-based offense. So we'll see how we transition that. Our coaching staff is well structured to coach that, played in it, coached in it at other spots. And that's what we ran at Seymour and Elkhart Central. So that's my background as well. So we're excited about that. Tough to install in 2 months. We always knew we were going to do this, but we needed to get to December to do it.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be fun to watch, Coach. You definitely got the athletes to spread it out, and everybody can carry the ball, and
take advantage.
A lot of game breakers.
Yep.
A lot of game breakers. You put the ball in a couple of those guys' hands, and they can take it the distance. So
any play.
What's your? You got so many athletes over there. What's your philosophy, offensive D? I talk to most every coach about this. If you've got a standout athlete, and doing what I do now and developing athletes in the off season and helping guys get faster and more agile. Where do you put your best athlete? Are you going to put him on defense? You're going to put him on offense? You want the ball in his hand as a quarterback, or you want him at Mike linebacker?
At a school our size, our best athlete's not coming off the field, and really our top 5 guys don't come off the field at all. So, you got to have your QB has to be able to run an offense, right? So you're going to take a lot of option coaches put their best athlete there. I'm going to put someone there who's a high-level athlete but can also execute, learn, and understand, and stay calm under pressure. But then for us, we're in a good spot. I don't have to choose. I don't have one guy to pick and got to put him at one spot. Well, I feel like the 5 guys that we're going to put out at wide receiver and running back are all kind of interchangeable. Anthony played really well last year for us at running back. He joined us late, and then he runs possessed. He runs the ball hard. And he fits that option A-back spot very well. Then we love the Latrell kid there. So for us, it's like we're going to spread the ball out and get touches, but we want to run the ball. We have to be able to run the ball. Having a good receiver doesn't mean much if you don't have a run game. We ran into – I thought Griffith had a great game plan against us. We played over there. They kind of pressed Jamari and capped him over top. And then River Forest did the same thing, right? So you have to rely on your run game in those situations. So Mario had 162 yards rushing in the second half.
Wow.
We feel like we need to be multiple enough that if your plan is to take something away, it does not have any impact on our ability to move the ball.
Following you on social media and checking out your Twitter over the past couple of weeks, I know you've been going to check out some of your guys at other sporting events. They're doing wrestling, they're doing basketball, and you're there to support them, which is awesome. What's your philosophy on multi-sport athletes? Yeah,
so I'm the assistant athletic director here also. So I want us to have success in everything. Obviously, I have a little bit more invested in football naturally, but we want our kids in other sports. So when you see our football workouts and stuff posted, that's actually we're at track practice. We mix the two together. And we really want our football athletes in track. We want our track athletes in football. If they're not in track, we want them in baseball. If they're not in basketball, we want them in wrestling. I would prefer that all my kids are in 3 sports. If they're not, then we're going to provide workout and developmental opportunities for them. I teach PE here. I'm lucky to have a majority of our kids in PE, so we're able to get our lifting in during the day that way. Yesterday we had 43 players in the weight room. Tuesday we had 51.
That's key.
We're going to have guys lifting 3-4 times a week every week while also doing their sports. So we don't just want multi-sport athletes. We need it to be successful here in everything. We want to have the best basketball team in the area. We want to have the best football team in the area. Obviously, we have a historic wrestling program.
Absolutely.
That takes care of itself. But, multi-sport athletes are a must at small schools for success. And we go out of our way to encourage that, and not just encourage it, but I'm gonna be at the games, right? I'm going to the wrestling meets, I'm going to the basketball meets. I think that goes a long ways with our kids knowing that you genuinely do care and that you're going to show up and take time. I think that's a huge part of coaching.
That's awesome, Coach. I couldn't agree with you more. I'm a huge advocate, proponent for the multi-sport athlete, and for me, I love having kids in the weight room, and the fact that you got. Sounds like PE conditioning class over there, and your kids are able to get their lift in during the school day is awesome. But every school isn't blessed to have that. But, you know, when people say championships are won in the weight room, you know, I say championships are won on the field. So I would love to have a kid competing for a conference championship or sectional in wrestling, in basketball, in baseball.
Absolutely.
He's going out every weekend, you know, competing with his team, competing with his brothers, and trying to win a trophy. He's developing that winning attitude, and
Absolutely.
you can kind of do that in the weight room, but it's nothing like going out there on a Friday and playing a sport.
Yeah, they both serve their point. Obviously, the weight room is crucial to football success.
For sure.
But so is anything you're going to learn from basketball, from wrestling, just competing. You know, you're going to learn and develop in all three areas: the weight room, your other sports. Multi-sport athletes that are committed to playing three sports are going to find time to be in the weight room and to get stronger.
For sure.
And it's the school's job and administration's job and the coach's job to make sure there's something in place for your athletes, regardless of what it is, and to best use your facilities. And I feel like we do that here. So,
well, that's awesome, Coach. It sounds like you're definitely on the right track. You're winning season, your first time out as a head coach, but you got a ton of coaching experience behind you.
Yep.
And it sounds like you're getting a system in place that's going to be successful for a long time and continue on that tradition that Calumet has kind of started over the last 4 or 5 years. So I'm excited to watch you guys. I know you're excited to have the keys to that Ferrari over there, man.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm glad to have you on the pod.
Yeah. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Очень. Насильник упал.